Hi, my name is Shay, and I'm the CEO of Breakaway Bookkeeping and Advising. And one question we get asked a lot is what exactly is an advisor? What does a Breakaway advisor do? How can they help me in our business and me and my business? So I wanted to take some time to go through that for you and hopefully answer some of those initial questions and give you a little bit of a better sense of how a Breakaway advisor can come alongside and help your business. Let's dive in. So first of all, what does advisor mean? And because our work is so varied and so bespoke, this is a word that we chose purposefully to be a little ambiguous, a little mysterious. Because at Breakaway, our work gets to the heart of small business, and we come alongside our clients to make sure that they are maximizing joy and minimizing frustration. This can look a lot of different ways, but primarily it's going to break down to one or more likely a combination of the following roles: bookkeeper, controller or comptroller if you're in the nonprofit world, which yes, we do service, or CFO. Now, all of these roles, two things to remember when you're working with Breakaway. The first is that they are all fractional, which means that our advisors are going to be working with other clients and other small businesses in addition to yours. And they are all remote. And that's not to say that if your advisor is local to you, that you're never going to see them in person or that they will never come into your office. But we are primarily a remote service. We are a virtual service. And if you'd like your advisor to be in office with you, that will be part of the engagement and the proposal that we send over. And it's not something that's a baseline expectation. But that's what we do. Now, these three words, bookkeeper, controller, CFO, obviously they're words that we all know and we are familiar with, but let's really get down to what they mean and how it applies to your business specifically. Okay, so we're going to think about driving a car. Now, your bookkeeper, this is your rear view mirror. They are thinking about what happened and how can they make sense of what is behind them. Now, a controller, this is your steering wheel. So what adjustments and immediate deliverables need to be happening all the time to keep that car safely on the road? Now, last but not least, we have your CFO. This is your windshield, and this is the person who is looking forward to anticipate problems and hopefully help you to arrive safely at your destination. So keep this analogy in mind as we're going through the different tasks, because really our advisors are probably going to do a little bit of all of these things and maybe a little bit more if they've got the role of CFO, maybe a little bit different if they've got the role of bookkeeper, but we're all encompassing a little bit of all of these roles as an advisor, and that's part of what makes Breakaway different. All right, let's talk about some of those specific tasks and what to expect from each of these categories. So your bookkeeper, this is going to be your cloud accounting expert. We have excellent relationships with all the major players in the cloud accounting world, particularly Xero, QuickBooks Online, and FreshBooks. Although if you are not on one of these platforms, do not despair. We can still help you and we can make sure that your cloud accounting is right where you want it to be. Now, this being said, we only work with cloud accounting software. So if you're a QuickBooks desktop person, you're using a ledger, you're using a spreadsheet, like a physical ledger, which you'd be surprised, people still do it. We're going to talk about converting you to cloud accounting. But once you're in the cloud accounting world, no matter what sandbox you're in, we can find someone to come alongside and help you. So the tasks and kind of areas of expertise for a bookkeeper are going to be things like that full setup or cleanup of a cloud accounting system, the chart of accounts, right? Because we're going to pass that over. We want to make sure everything is nice and cleanly organized for our tax accountants. Going along with that, accepting and categorizing transactions, reconciliations, bank feed connections, because we are good with all that tech stuff. We're going to keep that clean and lovely for you. We can record payroll transactions. We can help with payroll. We can do 1099 production. All of this is going to fall in that bookkeeper bucket. Now, with a bookkeeper, your touch points can vary. It may be that you see your bookkeeper as little as every quarter, or it could be that you see them every week. It's really going to depend on the complexity and size of your business, which we'll talk about a little bit more at the end of this presentation. Now, this service is usually going to start at about $5.95 a month. It can go much higher, it can go a little bit lower, but this is kind of where our basic bookkeeping is going to start. Now, a fractional controller is going to perform those bookkeeping duties or manage or put together a bookkeeping team for you. They are going to be doing, again, all those tasks that drive the business in the moment. So we've got accounts receivable, accounts payable, implementation of third-party apps. We love the fintech. More frequent reporting than your bookkeeper is going to give you, and those really beautiful year-end financials. We've got estimated tax payment preparation, so all of this stuff. Now again, service here is going to start at about $995 a month, and touch points can vary from weekly to monthly. All right. Now, here is a more detailed list of some of the actions that we can perform and the tasks and things that we can manage. So I'll give you a minute to look at those, but a few things to point out that we didn't mention in our initial discussion is some cybersecurity help. We're really good at kind of putting you in the right direction. We can help you review payment collection and choose a solution that is right for you. We've got some more advanced bookkeeping, like splitting revenue and expenses by classes. We can track those fixed assets. We can review and maintain the general ledger. So lots of great stuff, helping with billing and invoicing. And again, as a controller, we might manage your cash flow, create those aged payables and receivables, help with time tracking or payroll, something that causes a lot of stress for a lot of business owners, is definitely something that we can help with. We can do simple financial reporting, so that your basics, right? Your income statement, your balance flow, and your statement of cash flows, budgeting, and again, managing that bookkeeping team, which might be your team or might be one that we develop for you with our incredible blended shore resources. And that means offshore, nearshore, and independent contractors who are onshore. So lots to think about there. And again, these are the main things that we do, but there's a lot more we can do as well. So just make sure to bring that up in your discovery call with a member of our sales team. Now, fractional CFO, a little bit of a different ballgame here, right? So the fractional CFO is going to oversee the daily bookkeeping responsibilities, but they're not responsible for them. So we've really got to have a good team there. Now, what's nice about Breakaway is your fractional CFO can build that team for you, which is really, really cool. The fractional CFO is acting as a partner for the business owner, and they're going to have multiple, more frequent touch points. And the responsibilities may include strategic planning for growth and expansion, financial insight and guidance on all company or board decisions, and a really high-level interpretation of those financial reports. Now, pricing for this is going to begin at $14.95, but there's a huge range here because if you remember, a small business really can go up to $10 million or more in revenue and still be considered a small business. So we're working at Breakaway, depending on our advisor's ideal clients, everything from what we call a micro business, which may be bringing in $100,000 a year, to these kind of verging on medium or even large size businesses that are bringing in many millions of dollars a year in revenue. And of course, the price is going to reflect the complexity of those engagements, of those businesses, as they grow in revenue. So that's why the range is here, and we have really in-depth discovery conversations to make sure that your package is priced appropriately. Now, moving on, again, a more detailed list of everything a fractional CFO can do. Again, there are other things in addition to this, so please bring up any questions, or if you're like, hey, I thought maybe a fractional CFO could help me with this, please bring that up because we are here to discuss that with you. But again, let's talk about some things that we haven't touched on yet. So really cool KPIs. We can put together unique and distinct KPIs for your business. Many of our advisors are certified with a program called 60-Minute CFO, which is built for small businesses and the KPIs that mean the most to them. So we really love that. We can help with compensation packages. We can help prepare you to meet with your CPA or your wealth manager, and advising you on all types of things that are related to that. We have advisors who specialize specifically in audit prep, and also can be there to help you with board meetings, etc. We can assist with hiring for finance positions, whether they'll be working with us or you're looking to replace us because you've grown so much you need someone in-house. We are here to help. So really lots of guidance that a fractional CFO can offer. So your next question might be, okay, I saw a lot of difference from your bookkeeping prices all the way up to those fractional CFO prices. How do you decide how much a service is going to be? Are fractional CFO always more than bookkeeper? Like, how does that work? Well, again, each of our service packages, our advisor packages are bespoke and unique to each client. So it's really going to vary depending what your needs are. But there are two different things that we look at. The first category is touch points, which is how often and in what ways are you going to be interacting with your advisor, and then the size and complexity of your business. So let's go through some of those touch points. And these are good questions to ask yourself before you come into a discovery call. How do you want to communicate with your advisor? Real time or asynchronously? How many scheduled meetings would you like monthly? So generally we're looking at monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, occasionally quarterly. What kind of response time would you like for an advisor? Are you okay if it's a day or two until they get back, or do you want them to be Johnny on the spot, getting back to you as soon as possible? What channels of communication? If you're using email, maybe a project management software, that's kind of one avenue. But if you would like to have frequent phone calls or video calls, that's right, going to change the scope of the engagement. What's really important is thinking about how much time do you want your advisor to spend in a physical office, or to be, again, available on call in terms of office hours. Again, we are primarily remote service, so if your expectation is that the advisor will be in your office, that will be built into the scope. And of course, we're always willing to accommodate that. We just want to make sure that all of our clients understand that that is generally outside the realm of how our advisors work. Last but not least, what are your expectations around emergencies? Does your business tend to have things where you're really going to need somebody to get back to you right away, or is it pretty chill? Or do you have a chill kind of attitude around it? So think about that, because we want to make sure that we're always showing up for our advisors for our clients in ways that work for them and in ways that don't stress our advisors. Now, to assess the size and complexity of your business, we're going to look at things like number of accounts, number of transactions, number of third-party softwares, size of your executive team. So this means, who is the advisor reporting to? Size of your accounting team. Who is reporting to the advisor? What type of cloud accounting software do you have? Are you one of the three, or are you a more complex or less complex software? And what industry you're in, right? Some industries are much more complicated than others. If you're doing physical product, virtual product, if you're a restaurant, if you're real estate, lots of things to consider here, and that certainly goes into our pricing as well. Now, to just underscore, all of our services are bespoke. We create individualized plans for each client. So the more information you can bring us during the discovery period, including what your budget is and what your expectations are, the better able we're going to be able to serve you. Now, a few things to note. Breakaway advisors do not prepare tax returns. We can help with sales tax. We can help with 1099 prep. We can help with estimated tax payments. We can liaise with your CPA. In fact, we love working with CPAs and EAs and being a voice of interpretation for those things on both sides. We love having that role, but we are not going to prepare your tax return, and that is really important to note. We are small business owners. Each of our advisors is a franchisee. They own their own franchise and therefore are a small business owner. We think this is a really unique perspective and very different from what you're going to get when you work with an accountant from a firm. Now, they do great work, but they are not going to have that same experience and perspective as someone who's also a business owner, just like you. And last but certainly not least, we work for ourselves, not by ourselves. And this means that Breakaway Advisors have an incredible community with literally hundreds of years of experiences between them all and a real wealth of knowledge. And it's very wonderful to see everyone leaning on one another. So if you bring a conundrum to your advisor that they have no idea how to handle, I can guarantee you someone on our Breakaway team will. And again, you're just not going to have that when you're working with a solo practitioner. Now, last but again, certainly not least, you never ever have to worry about being left in the lurch. If you are working with a bookkeeper, a solopreneur bookkeeper, or you've got someone that you really like at a big firm, but you don't really know anybody else there, you don't really kind of know the vibe, and then that person quits, goes on maternity leave, changes careers, gets promoted, brings on other people, you can sometimes be left in the lurch without a clear continuation of service. At Breakaway, you have the advantage of always knowing there will be somebody there for you. So in that way, we're like a firm, but it's really all constructed by the advisor themselves. They're going to be able to pick someone who can serve you as they've served you, and it can be a really comfortable transition if your advisor ever needs to change. Additionally, if there's some reason that your advisor isn't the right fit for you, we can help transfer your work to another advisor without the stress of having to go out and finding a whole new professional to work with. So lots of advantages there. So if you want to work with this, if this sounds interesting to you, you can either visit our website and fill out the form on our contact page or email sales@breakawayba.com. Please include your name, contact information, website, and any general notes about your accounting needs. Go back and kind of go over some of those questions that I talked about earlier in the presentation. A member of our sales team will get back to you within 48 business hours, so that's Monday through Friday, and we'll get you started on our sales process. And that is a little bit of what it looks like to work with Breakaway, a little more information about what an advisor does, and we really hope to meet you soon and hope to be able to come alongside you in your business and help you meet your goals. Thanks for listening.